Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me. Paulina here, talking to you about May 2025. So what do we basically have is a very nice, hard, solid, fixed sign of Taurus. We have a very nice, hard, solid, fixed sequence, with Uranus being, of course, bound to Taurus during this time. We don't actually really have a lot of time to decide things. We just have to be as clear as day. So this is where Snake really shows its colors in terms of what it really means for us to experience this year of Snake. She doesn't want us to do things like this. She doesn't like stagnation. She will not do well if we have a bad or inappropriate design. Quite often Snake will not do us very well if we don't have a lot of care or love put into our work or in our partnerships and relationships. She doesn't like it when we do things willy-nilly, and she doesn't like when things are just okay. So it's not about just okay, like, oh yeah, this is okay, this works for me, I suppose, I get it, this is fine. Snake usually likes a finessed and a very robust person. She takes really good care of us if we do the best we can, and if we are on time, if we are on the job, and if we are showing up in a correct space and time, and also if you have a very good and very Puritan design. If you are looking over your website, if you are looking over your errands, or just anything that you do day to day, it has to be correct, or it has to be gone. Sometimes it has to be loved. Quite often people will try to breathe love into their dead projects or dysfunctional relationships. Sometimes they will try to do just about anything to keep their home lovely and shiny, even though it's not very livable, habitable. So have a look as to what you can do to try to keep things together and try to keep things simple and beautiful and gorgeous. And also, if you actually had to do something a long time ago, now this is very, very difficult. If you had to have that procedure years ago, if you had to do that thing years ago, if you also had to pay a debt but you didn't, if you had to ask for forgiveness but you didn't, it's a very, very difficult time. If you have debts and things that are just laying over, and it's very stilling as to what this time can mean to some people. If you've had any outlaying debts or any kind of neglectful energy working with you, also it's very difficult and dangerous for certain people that just don't have it together, and now they're getting angry and they're starting to really care. So for example, you haven't really cared about your body before, and you are in a certain age where it's difficult to start any kind of process, but now you have to, or you do that which you do, but you have to do it better. So this is where people would actually go a really long way by improving their diets and habits. This is where people have to change homes sometimes, so they have to change methods. This is when you have to get updated, up-to-date software. This is also when it's really good to try to get clean, try to get very standard, and know that if you are going to do anything in your life, that it has a certain result that is already achieved, and that you don't actually have to push it further than you've done. It is just whether or not you can handle things at this point. Now this is really hard for people because I'm seeing that we have some dreamers in the audience. And of course, in certain decision-making process, certain individuals may not actually want to just leave things as they are. And I'm also feeling a lot of people just desperately want to do better. And sometimes they do very crazy things. This is where people get a lot of procedures. This is where people have heartless results or heartless truths. They do things at a drop of a hat, and maybe there's a lot of vulgarity or anger or frustration with certain choice making. So if you're making very vulgar and frustrating choices, this is going to be seen by probably everybody. And also things that didn't take time and that were done their own way. For example, if you are doing a job and you're trying to imitate results of somebody who's been a professional at that job for many years, you may have a vulgar outcome, you know. So instead of using very good quality stitching, you are using a sticker. Or instead of good quality, like high quality anything, like high quality work, you're presenting rushed, angry work. You know, so it's very important not to be rushed, even though it may feel like you're not getting there. And you're looking around at the competition, quote unquote, or you're looking around at what other people have done and presented, and maybe you're saying, well, why does that person have a chance and I don't? So there's a lot of jealousy, there's a lot of triggers. For some individuals, there is a question, why doesn't that person do the same as me, or why can't I do the same as that person? It's very nice not to judge and to take care of yourself, because volcanism, obsession with beauty, obsession with perfection, obsession with any kind of quality of goods, obsession with money, or obsession with any kind of thing can actually cause an incredible amount of detriment during such a time. So we don't want to, and full infiltrate those vibrations. And also it's nice not to infiltrate an aura that is feeling a lot of passion, aggression, or depression. So if you're noticing that you have a lot of spiciness about you, or anybody else in your family community has a lot of selfishness and anger that is coming in through this time, this is not a very robust way of doing things. It is a vulgar, or not very well adjusted way of doing things. So have a look if you can also stay away from brutish behavior, from arguments, from any kind of acidic, melancholy, sad, depressed also energy, and anything that is basically not within reason. It's nice to keep things reasonable. It's nice to keep things healthy and clean. For certain individuals, it is better to crawl for now than to try to fly. It's okay if you are only at the beginning phase of a project and you can do just as much as you can on it for now. It's okay if you have a low level of expertise, just as long as you are doing the best that you could have done on that particular level. It's better to be clear and very clean cut on a certain level than try to do several things at once, and also try to be too much impolite, too robust, or too vulgar, where other people cannot possibly handle you. So sometimes people drop off the radar because they can't handle a story, because they have too much energy, or too much meanings, or too many different volatile feelings. And for some other people, they just will not work with you if you can't handle yourself. Like, for example, if you take things too personally and you can't be mature and self-efficient, sometimes people will drop off because they basically will not be able to handle that anger or frustration. Or sometimes people will not want you there because you don't have enough means to be there. And that means that there's not enough professionalism, there's not enough of an alkaline, Puritan culture. People like a safe energy during this time. Usually they will choose a person who is conscious and well-to-do, well-presented. They usually do not like aggressive behavior during Taurus. People will not usually choose a person that is trying to strike up a very optimistic or highly volatile or vulgar note, and they may not be trusted. So sometimes a person may not trust a human being that has too much going, and they have all their guns are blazing, and it just feels like they've got just too much going on. So if you like, you can clean up your business, clean up your aesthetic. It's really nice to have a look if you can do things on a minor scale at your level, at the level that you're at. So you're not jumping hoops during May, or trying to entice yourself into believing that there is some kind of a polar opposite universe where you are the king and you're meant to be. It's like, oh, there's going to be a door, and then when I go through that door, I'm going to be king straight away. Try to make it sure that you make things count. It's a very grounded, earthy, of course, month of Taurus, month of May. It doesn't have to be so skyrocketing. It doesn't have to be hard either. It never had to be intense or super interesting. It's just as you are is fine. If you can just potter away at the level that you are is fine. If you can clean up your website, if you can clean up your house, if you can maybe have a nice, sturdy and stable exercise routine, and you can eat fresh, or try to work out the problems that are facing you now. So some people just have problems and debts, and the main thing for them is just to try to work it out, and they can't do anything else any other way, and they have to stop at that level. It's like, for example, acid reflux, obesity, any kind of problems, monetary problems, so just like real big emotional, mental issues. People have to get rid of that first before they try to focus themselves into some very beautiful and very seemingly idealistic reality. But the realistic thing can sometimes be very boring for certain individuals. To have a degree of realism about your life, and to get real about what it was that was going wrong all this time, and also understand what was going right. To be this real is difficult for us. Some people really suffer, and they feel an incredible sense of frustration or depression if they actually recognize that they're only at this level, and they're just gonna have to do that day in, day out to try to perfect it, instead of jumping and flying high in the next reality. So what is potentially causing this lack of trust in things, and this jealousy and abbreviation and meanness, is also we are building up to Jupiter. Now we are understanding that on the soul level, some things are going to be answered. Some dreams are being answered already. There are smaller gifts coming through. Sometimes there are big gifts and meanings as well possible in Taurus during this time. But there are feelings like, will you or will you not make money from this job? Or would you not make a very good friend of this person? Will this work or will this not? And people sometimes get really ravenous, and they're trusting each other as well. So I'm seeing packs of people, and they're feeling very mean and nosy and angry, and they get really frustrated if certain other people are getting somewhere that they can't get. And sometimes people measure each other's results based on each other's lives. They're sharing pictures, they're sharing ideals, they're sharing dream times, and they're trying to sculpt this life together. So the best thing that I've done always is to take care of me and to do things in secret, meaning I'm working on my own website, I'm doing my own thing underneath the day-to-day life, underneath the psychosis of day-to-day question marks and meanness and evolution of where other people think that they should be. I've always just gone and done my own thing somewhere in the back. And that doesn't actually matter to some people, and I understand why certain individuals don't understand it unless it's really big. Like, unless I see you on a tabloid, you don't mean anything. Sometimes people are like that. Even to me, it's fine. It's okay. It's fine. So sometimes people don't understand it unless it is slap bang in front of them and it has this big sort of like golden theatrical glow, and there's a feeling that this person has conquered all universes at once. So there's like definitely a dream that some people are making during this time. Sorry for the noises outside. That have to do with this global overall glow and this kind of global ego of what is right. Like, this is the perfect woman, or this is the perfect TV show, or this is the perfect whatever. And you just have to be in the know. Sometimes it is nice to hear what other people think, but at the same time try to select things that are right for you. And maybe this is because of your gender or race or spirituality or your past or where you're from, your background. There's a certain wake-up call that I feel is very much needed, because some of the time the majority may have some things right, but also you have to listen to you and whether or not you like it. Sometimes people have certain abilities and vulnerabilities, and they can't just step in like a bunch of soldiers and get it together. Like, sometimes people during such a month may want to do exactly the same as anybody else. Like, that girl has implants, I want implants too, but it may not be actually correct for your body to have. So that's the thing. It's like not to feel very rich and very known based also on these qualities and agendas of the species, quote unquote, or how other people have valued or devalued things. So the thing is to be sometimes alone and to be strong enough to have your own wisdom come through, because there are lots of different shortcuts and quickenings that one can experience if they are exposed to their own center and their own point of view, instead of trying to make it on the level or on the wavelength of how society or Hollywood paints it. So that's the whole thing basically, is to try to be upright, try to be strong, and try to get through to yourself as to what you need. Uranus is going to make it very easy and very lucky for us if we have a geeky brain. So if you're a geek like me, I have Fortune next to Uranus, so hey, never mind. Maybe it's over your head a little bit. It's okay. Fortune and astrology, never mind. Okay, so if you are very nerdy and if you don't really have any mind, unless you really concentrate on things and you speak only of certain things, if you're really good at doing only one thing at a time, you'll probably get the worth. For example, you're an IT developer, or you're like a geek, or you're making some kind of software, developing apps and such, you'll probably get the better result during such a month. And yes, we are building up eventually to a solstice, and we'll get to see the big chunk. I will be talking about the solstice eventually in June. You will see the big chunk of what matters and what was left over and what works and what doesn't work. So it's kind of like a little clunky and a little bit of a show and tell by the end of Gemini in terms of what is the worth, what's the value, who's improved the most, whose business works, which concept have developed enough to be a part of the greater world. And also sometimes it is about popularity with Jupiter in Gemini, which person, which body, which energy, or just which mind has evolved enough or centered itself enough to be able to be in the works. So in terms of crafting and fashion and design and also electrical appliances, technology, anything like that, during the time of May, it's really nice to get those things together. If you can make it work, by the end of Gemini, that would be great, by the end of June. And it's really nice to have a look as to what has come out the best. So if you are working on several concepts, like for example, you are, working with electrical stuff, or it's very Uranus, or if you're working with IT technology, it's really nice to have a look what is actually working and what has a certain type of genius or a certain type of foolproof method at the heart. And sometimes it's the simplest things. So it's definitely about innovation, and it is more about what you may also want to do with it eventually later on. And it is nice to develop also several habits during May. Maybe it is cleaning or workout or anything like that, just to basically contribute to your world. In certain situations, people are really zonked in. So if you're an expert, if you're a philosopher, if you're very nerdy, and if you're really good at technology, or you're really, really good at, I don't know, life development, or trying to make a new scheme for yourself, which is what sometimes Snake can bring up, you will get there. So if you're really good at concentration, if you're really like desperately good at picking apart a computer or doing something very interesting with your time, studying or learning, for a person who is avid in study and discovery, this is one of the best months in the world. You know, so this is like the better month that I think I've seen for, honestly, like about 10 years. Yeah, in terms of development of the psyche, development of self. Sometimes it is like dealing with neurological damage in your body, dealing with diet, micronutrition. This is a very nice time to get healing. Also very nice for a person who's an avid learner. This is a bad time for a passive person, like a person who just sits there and just waits for other people to do it for you. But it is definitely good for a person who is really good and has a history of picking things apart. So if you're really good at picking apart a computer or designing apps, this is a wonderful time, and you can get there. So definitely also illustrators, designers, clothing designers, I don't know, homeware designers, people that have to redesign their body all the time, people that have to redesign their home all the time, people that have to learn something different each and every day. These people are going to do the best during this expert month of May. And of course, Snake really likes to see a hero. She likes to see a person that with time has a certain experience or expertise, and she really can sometimes bring them up to the surface. So sometimes people are seen for their mastery and genuine intelligence. So if you're naturally exceptionally good at something, this is gonna be an incredible show and tell for quite a lot of people. And also, if you don't mind it, like what other people have done and how they're going, and you have a certain center of gravity that is completely yours, and you know who you are, then you win. This month you win. And basically what we want to do is we want to get to know you. If you are incredibly exceptionally good at something and you have an automated way of life, or a very unique, clean and epic mind, we have figured out several things about your lifestyle that nobody else has got. Maybe you need to join the dots for others, but you don't have to. Because we are in Snake, so sometimes the expert pretends that they can kind of see like what's going on, but they're sort of like doing their own thing. So that's when we have the hero within and not the hero without. So in some situations, these people, you'll never see them, you'll never know about them. And in terms of any kind of technologies and such, sometimes these people are the heroes, are the healers, but they're doing things on this hidden secret level of life. You know, so secret technologies, of course, with governments and everything as well, secret plans, you know, secret agendas are very good, because, you know, sometimes these people don't want to be on show. Like, they're not all Elon Musk. Like, they don't want to be in front of a camera. They sometimes have their own secret lives, and they just keep on going at that which they are doing. And we are, definitely going into the 3rd and 4th house, the icy area and the solstice of the chart. You know, so daily sometimes things would actually be better if you put things away, and if you try to do things that plan your road ahead for the greater time. So for example, you are packing your bag to go on a trip in the next month or two. Maybe you are packing your bag full of clothes. Maybe you're packing a bag full of technology. Maybe you have secrets. Maybe you have a secret stash. Maybe you have a cellar or bunker. So these energies, 3rd and 4th house, it is about the underground and the root system of society. And sometimes, you know, what is really going on with you is seen in the 3rd and 4th house. You know, so for certain individuals, it is about having a savings account that nobody knows about. For certain people, it is about having an underground job. For some people, it is about having a territory where your identity is hidden. Nobody will ever find out who you are. So definitely it is a secret energy. It is also about long-term planning, like, for example, 12-year plans, 10-year plans, 15-year plans. Some people don't actually have it in them to do anything on the outside. So if you know how to do expert stuff, if you know how to deal with secrets and secret technology, or if you know how to pivot your life very cleanly and you don't have to tell anybody about it, you don't have to involve anybody, and you can yourself on your own deal with it. Like, you can design your own apps, you can work with technology however you like, or you can make your body what you want it to be, through certain type of adjustments that only you undertake. You don't have to do a course. You don't have to show everybody what you've done. You can do it sort of like in the middle between everybody doing their stuff. You have your own secret stash. You have your own secret space that actually does work, and it will probably hold space and work for a long time. So if you are now starting some kind of retirement fund or secret bank account, or if you are, I don't know, making a bunker, this is going to be very good. So in 5 or 6 years time. So definitely certain people that have now started an underground motion in Snake, because Snake is very underground, you may start to see results pretty much during this time. So what else can I say? I mean, we are trying to do things the best we can. Sometimes it's just about honesty and clarity with yourself. It's hard to be around other people if you are designing something that nobody else understands. If you, for example, working with different types of things that people don't know about, like say you are working with rejuvenating herbs and spices, but nobody knows about it. Nobody wants to know how you're doing it. And that's actually okay, because we have the mainstream, and the mainstream usually is very loud and obnoxious during this time, and they want everything that they see on TV. Like they see a certain type of body, they see a certain type of style, they see a certain aesthetic, and they want to copy it. So also have a look if you're one of those people that just wants to get that thing that someone else has got, and then would do anything for it. So of course there is a soul trap energy in Snake. If you also have been seduced by something or somebody that has nothing to do with you, but it is like seemingly seductive or exciting, and every single person wants it as well, you just have to make it very clear that you don't want to be a part of it, because it's very easy to be hooped or hijacked. And it's nice to know that. So for example, if you have been kind of a fool and you gotten into something that has nothing to do with you, it could be a money scheme, it could be a famous or popular app, it could be anything, and you understand now, I'm inside basically a giant machine. I'm inside a swarm of people, and they all want the same thing. And also understand if you like things, so you find them exciting or sexy or intelligent because everybody else has it. Like everybody else has this car, everybody has this kind of girl, everybody has this kind of house. And just make it very clear that you're one of those people. So for example, if you're one of the flock, like if you're one of the sheep in a sense, you don't have to really do anything. You just have to recognize that you are, blindly following a certain design, and you don't want anything else to happen to you. So for example, you are using the same products as everybody else, you're doing the same 9 to 5, you're doing the same thing. So this is definitely husk from grain in a sense, you could say. But it's also interesting to see who are the people that only want to be part of popular opinion and to be part of these giant global waves, where there is a certain sense of perfection and esteem, and people think that this is perfect or that is perfect, and this is how you live your life, or that is how you live your life. And also have a look if you are one of those silent people in the background that has already got everything together. It's just like nobody knows about you, and they don't actually have to. So that's the thing, not to feel depressed if nobody understands you, if you're a little bit too geeky or too removed, because this is actually a really good month for your soul. If you are ancestrally also driven to have a certain secrecy with you, you don't give anything away, and if you are genuinely not interested in participating in any kind of mainstream culture, then you got it together. Put it in a safe, put it in a bank, safeguard your intellectual property, get it patented. Definitely have a look as to how you can protect any kind of intellectual property that you're making, because it could be 1 in a million. And then eventually we're basically going into Gemini. So the beauty of Gemini, of course, if we've got Jupiter over there, we don't actually really have to do anything. Things are going to unfold and follow you through however you do. And definitely we do have husk from grain. We do have a feeling of sheep, people that are following. And we definitely do have people that are making unique content or unique personality traits, or people that just have a unique way of looking at their life and living it, and also people with unique potential, unique bodies, holding space for others. So we do have the kings and the queens, and we do have experts, and then people that think they are but they're not, but also people that will do just about anything to consume. So have a look at that consumer part of you. For example, if you want to watch as many videos with beautiful people in them as possible, or if you are trying to get to know as much about millionaires and billionaires as possible, but you don't actually have any concept of money yourself, or if you are looking at luxury vehicles or luxury watches or any luxury things, which is what Snake would naturally bring up. So understand that if you're consuming media, you consuming presence of personalities that seem to be on the cutting edge or seem to be perfect by societal standards, you may be very lost. And the only way to do it is through some kind of algorithms that you yourself decide and correct. And it's also a very nice time to know somebody who's done it. If you know somebody who's very wealthy, like if you want to achieve wealth and success in that way, if you know somebody who is very fit, very beautiful, very mindful of themselves, it is a gem. Some people are now going to start to be quiet and they will stop bossing people around. Also, I've seen that happen to me. Certain people, there's a need to step away from social media. If you want to conceive your own gifts, if you want to conceive your own habits, and if you want to have more control over your life, certain people will not want to be a part of a social network or group of people, and they want to be gentle with them because there's just like a moving ocean of people's brains. And it's not going to be sometimes for keeps, you know, what you place in front of them. So some of the time it is about having a genuine and a very separate life. In some cases, there is an urgency also with this Neptune in Aries. There's a definite, genuine need to have your own, and also to have your own wits about you, and to have your own biology, and to have your own center of gravity without having to be just, you know, one of many, one of millions of people out there. And what basically else is that we are building up to Gemini to June. There's a very nice relationship that you should already have. If you by the end of May already get it, like you realize, wow, I got a really good sister, or I got a really nice brother, or I've got a nice home and I got good habits, it's really nice. That is as that some people will just have to be at that really base level of just neutral, and certain individuals, if you're with me on that, are gonna want more. And now this is really hard. Like say I want an even cleaner website, or I want a state-of-the-art wardrobe, or I want even better skincare, or I want even greater paycheck for what I do. I want even bigger things, you know. So this is your choice, because you see, snake is a year of the master. It is it's a year of improvements, and it's a year of habits. And whether or not you like it, sometimes we have debris. And sometimes we have to get to the crux and the hope and that living energy, or that living being inside of you, and what you actually want to know and what you want to get. So for example, for me, maybe right now it's health, maybe it's going to be something else later. Sometimes we just join the dots in our own way. We set ourselves a mission, like say I want to get super fit, or I want to get super wealthy, or I want to get super educated, because these are private, they're perfect missions. They are not for other people's security, they're not for other people's development. Sometimes it's just the inner expert in you that knows how to move it. And this is about the genuine potential that these things can actually access. If you bring your expert out, if you bring your learner out, you know, if you bring your student out, and if you know that you have, like, my God, like this month of May, like 7 different things you want to conquer. So this is like a rare person, you know, if you want to have a beautiful house and a beautiful relationship and a beautiful body and good income, you know, and this and that, you know, good relationship with your elders and travel and creative also outcomes and good solid kids, you know, if you want everything to work, like how much time do you have to learn, like how much things you have to improve. But as I said earlier, Gemini is actually going to give things that are already given. It's like, yeah, here, take it, sure, here, like here, enjoy it, it's fine, you know. And sometimes a Gemini will just throw something away. It's like, oh, here, have a tip, you know, have a handful of this. So sometimes Gemini will give us just as much as we need, but I would actually really stay strong there. And if you want to, you can take a course, you know, I can learn, you can have a look. I'm going to definitely see what I can do to learn even more and to understand even more. But you see, what I'm seeing in Gemini is snakes and ladders. So you go up, you go down, you go up, you go down. So what basically Taurus provides us during the main part of the month is a nice, solid, simple energy. Maybe it is your device works really well. Maybe it's your home. Maybe it's your strategy. Maybe the platform that you're using is very safe for you at the moment. Maybe it is safety in other ways. Maybe your body can actually do the exercise that you're setting it up for. Maybe you have the capacity to learn. Maybe you have the capacity to enjoy. So what I'm enjoying about Taurus time is has enough safety and stability to actually let you do all those things. And Uranus is going to be exceptionally activating in terms of renewing and reforming things. And of course there are other people as well, and they don't care about it. They're like, I'm just going to live my life and just, you know, take a bit of this, take a bit of that. Sure, I'll take a flyer here. I'll, you know, cross the Rubicon over there. You know, I'm going to just fly over here, fly over there, and just see, I'm going to see what life is, you know. So this is also very nice. If you have one of those friends that's really amazing, means all is forgiven, you know. So certain individuals, yeah, I mean, we'll have to learn a lot. I'm going to have to learn a lot during this month. And then there are some people that are just like, yeah, life is just full of potentials and I'm just gonna walk and enjoy them. And sure, sometimes I will fall and sometimes I will, rise, and that's just what life is, So sometimes there are these people that are very much youthful and everything has brought itself together already. Maybe they're already very alkaline, they have no problems with financial wealth, they have no problems with their homes and family systems, and their bodies are exceptionally healthy and they don't actually have any questions, So that means that this type of person is usually seen for their showmanship. Sometimes they're seen for their character traits and they're just going to do whatever they like because they already have everything lined up. But do you? Do you? Some people do. But even though they do, so the question I also have, wouldn't you want to learn a little more? Wouldn't you want to get a little better at it? Like, say, sure, you have this much money coming into your bank every month, but wouldn't you want a bit more? Like, wouldn't you want like a bit of a better system? So I mean, the story is yours in terms of how you handle it. Like, certain individuals actually don't have to learn anything and they don't mind which way it goes. Like, they don't mind which way the cookie crumbles. And I get you, and it's fine if you're like, well, yeah, I'm like, I don't know, like if anything goes wrong, it's fine, my parents will bail me out and it's fine, it's okay. There are lots of people that have lived their life like this all along, and just whether or not you want to improve or not. So the question is, it's an individual question mark. If you did actually want to see the truth and get really good and, get those right results, whether it's your body, your home, your system, your relationships, your job, your money, anything, whether you need that as well, because I know that some people also, it's not that they don't need it, it's like they won't ever notice that they need it until like their balance is on zero. Like, they won't know that they need it. So basically I'm saying there is a balance with this sort of foolproof, happy-go-lucky energy that could also be part of the time. So I'm just like, I don't know, I'm going to relax and just see what life gives me. But also have a look if there is something that you still need to learn and improve on, because Snake likes a master, Snake likes wisdom, Snake likes hyper-awareness, and some of the time you won't get it until the end. You won't understand why or what for. The more love, care, and association and presence sometimes, or the more mastery, or the more time, the more energy, the more projects you do as well. Yeah, the more you invest in something or somebody, the more lucky you are going to be eventually later on. So we're building up to Jupiter. I mean, I would just say, like, don't waste this time being like, oh, I don't know, because like we can also benefit from that. There are also payouts either way, but it is really nice to see if you can actually really feel as to what you would like to put your efforts towards. Because yeah, there are travelers, there are historically very young and free individuals that basically go from one place to another, but just also have a look, if you are going to spend time, what are you going to spend it on? And also, like, what is your home? What is your place? What is your root system? Gemini to Cancer eventually is a root system. What is your genuine potential somewhere? What is your long-term gain, or how are you going to be there later on? So of course, I don't want to go there because I understand people are too hurt to know about it. People have to work it out before it happens. So for example, osteoporosis can be can be diminished by taking certain things. For example, premature aging can be diminished by certain things. Of course, for instance, certain ailments and, certain cause and effect, poverty, lots of things can be diminished with enough planning and security. So like, this is basically something I have to tell you. You can plan for the next 10 or 20 years of your life. But if you don't like that, and you don't want to, and you're like, I'm in my 20s, I got all my time, I got all the time in the world. Some things, people say eventually, I wish I started earlier. Like, some things I wish I started earlier. But I was kind of blinded by just like movement and life, but it is nice also to be. It's nice, like, there's no problem. And there's no real issue if you just want one of those happy-go-lucky people. And you're very lucky and your body is new and fresh and, you're so happy and you can do anything you like and everything is your oyster, like at your disposal. But also understand that maybe it is nice to set up your time so you get some gains. So anyway, this could be financial gains, professional gains, it could be family gains, there could be societal gains, there could be lots of different gains. It is good to know something at the end of the day. It is also very nice to have something develop that sometimes nobody else knows that you're developing. Like, maybe it is your body, maybe it is your family system, maybe it is your gift or your craft or anything, but just also make sure that you really care for that what you're developing. Otherwise, it may not be necessarily nonsense, but it can sometimes become that. So sometimes people develop things that they will never use. So make sure that, for example, if you are developing a social media account, that there's going to be some money or some energy coming from that later on. So you're not just like doing it for shits and giggles, so that if you have a time spent somewhere, that there is a point to it. And sometimes there's a problem if you don't understand and you don't care how you spend your time. So it's just about diligence and discipline and having a real life result by the end of the day. So thank you very much. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time.